you had a question on Shiho Nage. We'll use it to explain more to you some fine points of the tactics involved in Aikido's throws, okay? So, you have what we would do as kihon. You can grip next time, okay? And it kind of misleads you if you make the mistake that that's how the technique shows up tactically. That's a kihon waza, okay? It's like a coded message for all kinds of things, but its tactical application is not a one-to-one code. You gotta look deeper than that, okay? So, where does it show up? We'll do it first from Ryotedori, okay? So let's say I'm going to throw into the front kazushi, the front inward kazushi, okay? And the guy really hangs on to his balance, okay? Now stay there. The energy of the throw is going this way, okay? And what ends up happening, and we not only does his body is going to spin on that centrifugal energy, but just his body alone, the way that his mass is set up, if he takes that hand off the ground, try not to roll, try to stay in place and leave your leg high, and you'll see, don't fall though. You'll see that leg is gonna start to eventually spin out. If you need to, use me for some base, but don't hold on. Yeah, you see that leg starts to go that way. Okay, and you can run that experiment on your own. You just get here, and eventually that leg will go to the outside. Okay, the way your mass is in relation to its line of gravity. Okay, so a guy that is trying. Pull, eventually that leg will go out, and it's going to be kind of hard to demonstrate, but let's see what happens, okay? So try to resist the throw as much as possible, that, okay? There. Okay? That's fine. If you fall, you fall, okay? That little spin that he's doing, you guys see that? Okay. So imagine we'll slow down and we'll start to see that. So that when that leg is going to get around, yeah, it'll be like that, okay? It's not going to be in the front inward kazushi. So I'll show you if you pay attention. It's going to be on the back side of that leg, okay? You understand? And all you got to do is chuck someone, and there it is every time. So it's where, for example, the sweeps are in that same place, okay? Boom, hop, that little thing. All right, let's get there. Try it. Hey. Try to understand. Let's look at it just geometrically. So the guy's coming in, and then we're trying for that. And then what he does is he goes ahead and sacrifices this balance position. Okay. In essence, he's going with the energy. You see, that's what he's doing. And so if you look for where it tends to come up. Is you were trying to do a momentum throw, and the guy does not fall, they regain their balance, okay? And you held on to their arm or something like that. So if you pay attention, like in this version, we come around here, it's doing the same thing, you see? You're in that kihon, okay? Or even in the basic kihon, when you come around like that, right? From where I'm at, see that? His stance is in that same thing. That leg is behind the front leg, and you see the sweep is there again. Okay? From this angle, that back leg is in front of his leg. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Right.
Okay. But as soon as I go like that, there it is. So I'll show, just to show you, I'm gonna move that leg back. Okay, and I spun him around and it got behind him. Do you see it? Move that way. So the kihon is doing that same thing, right, from where I'm at. But what you want to know is when you're doing front inward kazushis, a guy can sacrifice his orientation towards you and get that foot there. Okay, you got it? And it will come up more than not in live situations where you did a momentum throw. Okay? The way you get out of it is with your kokyu projection. That foot does not get to stay there. You see that? But in a momentum throw, you go to do it and he can do it. Okay? In a projection throw, that foot does not get to stay there, and that's why he can't counter that throw. Okay? But it happens a lot in live situations, especially if you don't have the projection skills. Okay? So, we're going here, we'll do that momentum throw, and that's where it is. Okay? That's where your Shiho Nage is. There's something to note though. In the kihon, he's allowed to stay straight, you see? Even if he turns a little, he's pretty up. Back here so we can keep the orientation. In this stuff, the more he tries to stay up, the harder it would be able for him to do that. It's because this hand tends to cut down. So you're going, and you're going to see that his head is down when he does that, you see? Now it makes no sense, and this is the second thing, it makes no sense to bring him back up, okay? So we'll do the kihon, and I'm going to set up that stance, there it is, okay? And in the kihon, you kind of do bring him up. But we want to pay attention to something in the kihon that helps a little bit more, okay? I am going to not turn. I'm going to come across. I'll do those two versions, okay? Boom. I'll keep it with the mote. So mote, I go in, then I turn, then I enter again. What I want you to understand is where I keep my center this way, I step across, there it is. Same beginning, but I step across, there it is. There's no turn, can you see that? I'll do the other one, enter, turn. There's none of that. Keep the hand in front of you, boom, it's right there. Okay, let's get there. So we have all those other videos, Shiho Nage. I'm not going to go into the grip thing, okay? So I'll just quickly say here, your Shiho Nage is not on the forearm. It doesn't work because you do not have the mechanical advantage. Don't hurt me. He has the mechanical advantage, okay? He can just pull down on his elbow, and I can never hold that, okay? But once I get to the wrist, do you see? And I turn that more, and now he does not have a mechanical advantage because the smaller joint is working against him. So you could even have him higher. As he tries to pull his elbow, it makes his balance go because it goes into his wrist. So you cannot do it here. You should never do it here. You're fooling yourself, okay? I don't care how high it is. Put your elbow really high. You don't have the leverage. He's basically doing a thumb lock on you, which is why in similar situations in your net waza, this would be thumbless grip, so you don't expose the thumb to it, okay? Going on. Why don't we want him standing like that? You see this? It's upright. Or I get him slightly tilted, and then I come around, and he stands up again there. Do you see? Do you see that? Okay. Well, let's go back to where it tends to open up. You tried the front inward because Ishi is not in that position. And two, anytime your guy is standing up for any joint lock. So let's do Nikyo, because everyone loves Nikyo. You see? And you usually in Aikido, they'll show this to new people to convince them how martial the art is. Because they'll go like this. And because they're egocentric, it hurt me and I'm the center of the universe, your art must be real. Okay? That's all bullshit. The lock is functioning because the uke did not move their feet. No one told them not to, but they just don't. Okay? Any joint manipulation requires that force be stabilized. Otherwise, the articulatable joints will take away your leverage. Okay? So for example, if I leave my feet here and he does the lock, it's going to work. Okay? If I move my feet, it does not work now. It's off. Do it. Do you see? And he would have to turn to put it back on. He'll put it back on. Do you see? But what can I do? So he tries to put it on. I change the joint manipulation, the angles of the articulation. He moves and I move. Do you see? It'll never stop. You get that? So your techniques have ways of stopping them. And the way in Shiho Nage is their body is trapped within an inertial path. You can't reverse it. Do you get that? Okay. So the only way I keep him trapped in the inertial path is not let him back up. That's taking him out of the inertial path, and now he has full mobility, and the joint lock or the joint manipulation will not work. So we go, and as long as I keep my feet here, go, and he does Shiho Nage, it is going to work. That leverage thing that I just told you is going to work, okay? But if I move my feet, even when he's here, you see, and I move to here, it's not going to work now. So even that little hand leverage thing, right? If I just keep moving my feet, it won't work. So my body has to be preoccupied. And it can't be straight up because then it is back in balance. It now has mobility. Do you get that? And the resisting person will not be there. Okay? So, when you come into this technique, this little tilt that I have in the kihon, I am going to keep. I'm going to keep that tilt. Look, try to see where his body is. His body's going this way. Okay? So I'm going to move myself so that it will make Uke keep going that way. I'm going to move myself so that I catch there. Okay? Where is there? There is that sweet spot, he goes, where your compliant Uke did not move their feet. Do you see that? If he gets Shiho Nage and I don't move my feet, he's got me. Okay? But if he doesn't have me anymore. So you have to replicate that, but now in motion. So you have to kind of think, he's going this way, he's going around me. So I move, so I catch him there. You see that? And roll. Boom. Another way of looking at it is he stays in that tilt. I don't spin back around. He's going to stay in the okay? Let's try. Some other things. So, beginner mistake is you pick them back up. Beginner mistake, you're on his forearm. Beginner mistake doesn't work, okay? Another beginner mistake is his elbow is down. Anywhere his elbow is not up, okay? He has too much leverage. I don't have any leverage, even if I'm on the hand. It's very difficult to keep this leverage, okay? Which is why if he steps back, he's able more to lower his elbow, do you see? And I lose leverage as we go, okay? It doesn't change if you put his elbow here. You see you're on the side and you had like some kind of shoulder elbow lock. It doesn't take much for him to pull that, don't hurt me again. Just put your elbow underneath here. Do you see that? Okay? No. His body has to be up. The elbow has to be up, which means his center has to be forward. Okay? You can't get his elbow up with his center not forward, which won't happen when he's straight. It's parallel pretty much, and it's very easy for him to pull down. You'll lose leverage. Okay? So keep that all in mind. As you're doing this again, don't have his elbow look. It's parallel. Can you see from behind me or no?
No, I
You
don't.
see? It's parallel. That's not going to work. So his elbow is going to go up. Do you see it going up? Do you see that? I have the intention of getting his elbow to go up. Up. Okay? Add that. Another beginner mistake is he's gonna go right, and then go ahead, right, and then I can turn like this. You see how my hips turn that way? You see that? But in the technique is which way were my hips going? My hips going this way. Do you understand? So usually the way that happens, but you want to pay attention to it, is you are not controlling their center with it being preoccupied on an inertial path. So maybe on your kihon, they're just standing still, do you see? And then you come around like that, and now he could turn his hips into that technique and take that front breakball. Or maybe you did initially occupy their center, but then you gave it back to him, and now he can turn into it, you see? So his energy is going to be preoccupied this way, which would stop it from turning this way, okay? But you can do your lock in a way that you actually have a lock. This is where that wrist comes in handy, where the forearm does not, okay? The wrist stops him from turning that way. Do you see that? It adds a kind of kotagaesh-ness to it, okay? And the more he tries to turn his hips that way, it goes into the lock, okay? So as you're coming around, again, another reason not to be on the forearm, because it won't allow you to control his hips. He can turn his hips, and then he'll take your beautiful front breakball. But the bad guy will escape. The bad guy will move their feet and pull their elbow down and continue the attack, okay? So you really want to, right here, you're on the wrist already. You already have a kotagaesh, you see? And that stops his wrist from turning around, from turning his center. Stops his center from turning around. That gets that leg in the back, and then this here stops him from turning into it. Okay, so get on that wrist. Another reason. I want to make sure that you understand what happens if he gives me my center. It's not occupied with the inertial path going in the opposite direction, and if he does not have my center through where he's touching, such that, let me do the technique. I'm able to turn, you see, for my nice break fall. When I said that the bad guy would not be there, what I mean is since I have so much control of my center, you see, I could just continue my attack because I'm going to neutralize all the joint control he has because I'm moving those joints in space. You understand? Okay, so let's go back to generating that kind of ukemi, you see, and we're going to take more advantage of this tilt that he's in. We're going to even reduce it less, okay? It doesn't matter. We'll just do some throws. There we go. Good. There's that. Right there. Don't let me break your arm. Right. By not going up and dropping underneath, he does not come up even more. Boom. Okay, let's try. So now you can do it more or less in a kihon setting, okay? So you just kind of chill out. There it is right there. Look for that suki, that hole. This hole right there. This hole. So I'm not having to do anything with his body. This hole. As you guys see, he's inertially occupied. Okay? Try it.
Hi.
Alright, so if I'm doing yokomen, so he's got yokomen, and he can't start from out there, boom, because he's in my kicking range. You got it? So he's got to get into striking range, right? Okay, so he does his thing, and here's that same beginning, okay? So he's all, I hit, oh, cool, he fell. But if he keeps his balance, right? Well, there you have it right there. Right there. Okay, let's try it from Yoku. So I did it from Yote Dori. It's really a failed front inward kazushi, and the guy counters it, okay? And that's where Shiho Nage opening is. When you're doing the yokomen, right? I'm not trying to get his arm and spin him around, right? Here's the yin. His hand goes up, boom, contact, and then I'm inside of that strike, and I have my Aiki adhesion till I get that elbow, and then the yokomen is going over the top. You see that? And the yokomen is not a lightsaber. The yokomen, boom, is already, so just stay there. I'll just do this, boom, on his elbow, on my elbow on his chest. It's pop. It's going to do damage. Do you understand? So you are taking his balance, is where you're hitting him, and then he counters that, boom, and that's where your Shiho not getting. He's not even that open. Okay? Try it again. It's not your job to spin him around. You see that? You can't catch strikes like that. You cannot catch strikes. You can't block them either. You blend with it just like your sword work. Okay? Let's go. Okay, so a question came up in our training, they weren't understanding it, and they went back to goofy Aikido culture, okay? So here we are, we're doing now the strike, and you're getting this kind of stuff, you see? And the person swings around. So let me use you, because just do what you do, okay? So he comes around, and the person swings around, you see, and they keep walking around you. Do you understand? I go around you. Keep walking around me. Can you just do what you did before? You're gonna do it again. Just walk around me, walk around me, walk around me. You see? That is not the opening. Okay? That is not the opening. The opening was on a failed kokyunage, or any technique that is going to the front inward kazushi pattern. Okay? In order for them to become unprojectable, they're going to disconnect their center. Do you understand that? Okay? So if you pay attention, as he's doing the strike, his body is nowhere as organized. You see that? Now, try not to fall down. You see? Now it got organized. But one little shuffle back, tiny little shuffle, it's not organized. It's twisted if you pay attention. Organize yourself again. You see? Now he's got a strong homolateral side to him. When he is twisted, I'm not sure you even understand. So I'm like this, you see, as opposed to like this. So instead of here, I'm like this. There's a twist to my body, which is what freed my center from the kokyunage. So lock my body, he's gonna project me. But I'm gonna disconnect it. You see, this corner fell out, right? And as this leg now is not gonna come around in a pirouette. It's gonna come around, boom, like that. You see? And I'm twisted again. That is where Shiho Nage opening is. Okay? If I do this and a person would pirouette, that's twisted, go back in a perfect pirouette. This is when you take the back and you do something like Irimi Nage. It's not the Shiho Nage opening. Here he's twisted. There it is right there. So you have to look for that. When you have a nuke who will not twist for you, it's because you did not do the kokyunage and they did not counter it. You did this thing. They come around perfectly. Homolaterally aligned. Okay? So all you have to do is get the energy going. Boom, there's the twist right there. That's where I come in. Okay? Try it.